All right, welcome to episode 21 of Two Man Game. New year, but the same us. I am David, my good friend, my co-host Dom. We do have new setups behind us though. I have a sign that you cannot, oh, that's the wrong hand, a sign that you cannot read that says on air that my mom got me. So shout out, mom. Thank you for that
Shout
for
out, shout out.
Christmas. Yes, it's just a bright blur on the screen if you're an audio listener and you can't quite see. One day I'll manage to fix that, but I just noticed it before we're going to start recording, and I was like, I don't have time to figure that out. So for now, it's a bright blur, but it makes the lights in here kind of cool. Dom, his room's a little darker, but his face is illuminated, and his face is all that matters. So
Yeah, let's just be honest. It's the face, and I got some Christmas lights in front of me to kind of give it
I didn't
a.
want to
You
spill
ready
your
for
secret.
this? Oh no, you're right. My secrets, my secrets.
Uh,
Um,
but yeah, it's
I
been
don't
sorry.
gatekeep. I'm sharing my lighting secrets. It's all
Oh,
Christmas lights, baby.
it's been 2 weeks. The viewers, the listeners, they're like, oh, we're dying for another episode. All four of us are really
They're like we don't
craving.
know what's happening in the NBA right now. What's
I
happening? What's
don't. I
going
only listen
on?
to this podcast. It's all of my NBA knowledge. Uh, yeah. So they think like Alex Caruso is the best NBA player of all time based on this podcast.
Well,
Uh,
I mean, are they
Not far off.
wrong?
Not
They're
far
not
off.
far
Yeah.
off though.
But it's the holiday season or into the holiday season. We've been traveling. Dom and I, had our last pod live here in Austin, talked about, different things, the gift exchange, keeping up with the league, all of that. And then we both went to our hometown area, Galveston, and visited friends, family, saw each other again, but no equipment to record another podcast. So that's why it's been 2 weeks. Sorry, sorry. The podcast is not dead. We're still alive in 2024.
And we did hoop. We
And we
did
did
play
hoop.
basketball. We
Yeah,
did.
it was awesome. It was a good
That was
experience. I
very
should have put
fun.
that on the outline. That's worth talking
Yeah, yeah,
about.
yeah. Well, thankfully I remembered it. But
Yeah,
that was very fun. Play with my
let's
dad.
talk
Shout out,
about
dad.
uh what we did these past 2 weeks. Keep the listeners slash viewers up to date. How is your holiday vacation? How is seeing your friends, your family? How is hooping? What's the best gift you got? Let's hear it all.
Okay, yeah, for sure. No, it was really great. I stayed with my mom for a week, just north of Austin, Hutto, and I mean we had a good time. We just kind of hung out, and I went to work with her, and I worked remotely, and I mean that was fine. I didn't mind it. I was still just spending time with her. And then Christmas Day drove to my dad's, and that's when I really see the majority of my friends, like back in, our hometown.
Mhm.
Went played basketball, as you know, 2 days in a row. My dad was winded after the second
He
day.
was
He
like,
was
no
like,
more.
this is not how it used to be. Which was really fun. We had a really good time. And then, New Year's, we actually got to spend it together with a lot of friends and
Hmm.
shot fireworks on the beach, and that was really
And
fun.
we had a two-man game Roman candle battle.
We did, and glad to say we're both fine
Neither of
and
us were hit.
no scars left behind. But yeah, I mean, best present I got. I don't know. Should I reveal it? Okay, I'll reveal it. Oh, the
Oh my
extra
goodness.
large Lakers
Oh, you're so
shirt. Here we
kind.
go.
Oh.
I actually did get like a lot of Lakers and strangely enough Chicago Bulls things.
Interesting.
Because my dad got me a Michael Jordan calendar. He
Okay.
got me a book written by Phil Jackson. So he was like, "Oh, Lakers and Bulls."
Mm.
And then he got me a basketball card that was from when Michael Jordan retired the second time in '98.
Do you think
And
this is because you guys watched The Last Dance together?
he actually, it's so funny you say that because when I was there, he said, "Do you want to watch The Last Dance?" I said, "Dad, we watched it already." I said, "Yeah, I know, but it's always good to watch again." It's like 10 hours. We're gonna sit and watch 10 hours of The Last Dance. No, but I mean, it was very nice. I asked for basketball cards, and he got me a really nice one to start my, collection. So
You don't have it? You don't have it for the pod?
I'll grab it for next time. It
Grab
is
it.
tucked away because it is very valuable.
For sure.
But you know what we could do like another time, like maybe during the off season, is just get basketball cards and do unwrapping and
Mm,
go through those. Sounds kind of fun.
yeah,
But
I have some somewhere.
okay, that's sick. Okay, so what about you? How was your Christmas, New Year's, all that?
It was good, you know. The very first part, of course, I was just staying here in Austin. We recorded the live pod together then. That was nice. And then Christmas Eve, I drove to Vernon, which is a small town in kind of northwest Texas, to meet Autumn. Shout out Autumn, my partner, their family. I met in Vernon, and I was there until the 26th, and I drove back to Austin that night. And then slept in Austin, woke up, and then came to the Galveston area the next day. Stayed with my mom for like a little under a week. I hooped with you, which was fun. We had a good time playing with just some neighborhood kids. That was a fun experience. I enjoyed that. And then I also hooped again with my mom's boyfriend, and his brother and his brother's sons, and that was fun as well. So I got some basketball in. I binge watched an entire show. Um,
What show?
Reacher, Reacher,
Reacher
yeah.
on Amazon Prime
That's the one.
with John Krasinski. Is that his name?
No, that's Jack. You're thinking of Jack Ryan.
Oh, what's Reacher?
Similar. It's like another Tom Clancy deal, I
Oh, it's
think.
Jack Reacher, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the same thing. Okay. Erase that. Get it off the pod. Erase that. Get it off the pod.
But it was fine. It was like standard action show. But I was
Yeah,
just like sitting there and I saw it on their Prime Video and I was doing nothing and both of them were not in the house and I was like, okay, I guess I'll just watch this. That was fun. Uh, Watched football. That was fun, I guess.
Lions, Cowboys. Boo.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about that game. For listeners of the pod, even though I'm a Rocks fan, I'm a Lions fan, if you didn't know, just because my mom's from Detroit, so I support the Lions. And that game was nasty. Well, Lions should have won. It's already been revealed the Lions should have won. They came out and fined the referees. They're not allowed to coach or officiate in the playoffs anymore. Like it was a whole ordeal.
That is absolutely insane. I watched that. I didn't catch the very end, but after going back and watching it, it made zero sense to me. But yeah, let's transition to football. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
done with
we're a football
basketball.
pod. No, but it was good. See family. Best gift, of course. I have this shirt, the Damian Lillard over Paul George shot. I'm repping that today on the pod. Um,
Looking good.
I really liked the sign. I thought the sign was very nice. My mom to get me supporting the pod, even though she never listened to it. Shout out, mom. And I have what you can also see maybe kind of over here in my closet, a Rockets jacket. It's like really, really cool that I got. It's like all red and yellow lettering. Like
Oh, that's sick.
yellow sleeves, and yellow like collar and stuff. Not yellow sleeves, like yellow cuffs. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah, very cool.
red jacket with yellow sleeves. That sounds disgusting.
Yeah, that's probably a little too much.
But I'll probably don it on the pod at some point. So
Cool.
stay tuned if you are dying to see what that jacket looks like. I'll wear
I
it
also I
eventually.
also heard Autumn got you something pretty cool.
Yes, Autumn got me something with the help of Dom. I was getting there. A De'Aaron Fox jersey, someone I gave thanks to, less or I guess more than a month ago on this podcast. Um, when we had our giving thanks segment, that was one of the five guys I brought out. So, obviously someone I like and appreciate in the NBA. And it actually is delayed, hasn't gotten here yet. So I
Are
haven't
you
seen it.
serious?
Yeah, it was
Oh, that's
so
okay. That
so
makes
the
sense.
the original
Okay.
order was like canceled by like NBA store, so they did a reorder, and then the reorder got delayed. So it's like still waiting, but I'll get it
That makes
eventually.
sense. I'm like, I feel like I would have seen it. Like you would have sent me a picture or shown it. I was like, why isn't he showing it? That makes so much sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Got it.
I'm excited about it. I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Do you know what it looks like or you don't know? You just know you're getting
I
one.
know. Yeah, I think it's because I Autumn showed me because it was after Christmas. I was like, okay, here's what happened, but I want to show
Gotcha.
you anyways. And yeah, it's
Gotcha.
purple, one of the purple
Yeah, the
jerseys,
purple one.
which is cool. I'm definitely, I may take the Jalen Green down and don a New Jersey up there. We'll see.
Why not? Yeah, try new things. But yeah, it sounds like a very good Christmas. We got a lot of basketball related gifts this year.
Yeah,
I,
I think
I have
people
to
know our
say,
interest.
I think they get it. Funnily enough, but yeah, but yeah, I think we both had a very good holidays, and
Yeah,
it's nice to be, I don't know, back in the swing of things, kind of. But it was nice to see everybody for a bit. But
but it's
you
also
know,
nice to do this podcast.
oh, it's very nice. And what's crazy is during those holiday breaks, so much happened, and we have
Oh
so
yeah,
much people to talk
there's
about.
a lot. We watched
Um,
a lot, we talked a lot, and we just kept saying to each other, save it for the pod, save it for the pod, we'll talk eventually.
it was actually insane. Eventually, our texts to each other were just like, we have to stop doing this to each other. We're just like we're saying things that we want to talk about it so badly, but we just can't. We have to save it for the pod.
You get
Um,
our I think the important part is like we can rehash it on the podcast, but we don't get to see each other's reactions and then
yeah,
like the debate if we have different opinions, I think is
which
kind
is
of
always
the cool
fun. That's
part.
always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's what the listener gets to hear or viewer gets to see. All again, all four or three of them. Share the podcast. Come on, tell everybody. What's up?
Yeah.
When I got 4 views on every video on YouTube and 2 plays on Spotify, tell people. Share
Well,
it.
football's over almost done. So once that's done, it's all about
Once that's done,
basketball.
people will click on Spotify, they'll click on podcasts, they'll click on sports, they'll click on basketball, they'll scroll down to podcast
Boom.
267, and then there we
Well,
go.
or number one.
Or number
We'll
one.
see. We're coming
Where
for you, Paul George. We're coming for you.
is it? It probably it's like Paul George, Pat Bev,
Oh
uh,
yeah,
The Ringer has like a podcast network, Zach Lowe, those
we
guys.
have to get on the ringer, dude. We're gonna get on there.
Dude, that would be awesome.
That would be
That'd be
crazy,
so
wouldn't
awesome.
it?
I'd love that.
Um,
Ringer, we
sp
know you're
sp
listening, so
speaking about ringer and podcasts, and I knew there was something you wanted to tell me. I didn't even know what was going on.
yeah. So this I've talked about this podcast multiple times. Behind me here, there's a poster on the wall. It says Through the Wire, a podcast that I've listened to for several years. One of the people is Kenny KOT4Q. I've been watching his YouTube videos literally since 2018, I think. So like a really long time. And me and you saw the live show there's in Vegas just this past summer. It's Through the Wire is over. It's done. And what that means is they're not done making content. They actually just had an announcement, I think, yesterday. And we're supposed to do this podcast yesterday. I'm glad we didn't because like a bunch of news came out the last like 24 hours. So it was like,
Yeah,
oh,
really.
I
Yeah,
want to
it's
talk about this.
yeah.
Um, but the new they're making a new podcast basically with the same four people. They're in Through the Wire, but instead of House of Highlights, where it's always been through, it's not going to be through the Enjoy Basketball brand, which is a thing that Kenny owns and created. So and it's called Numbers on the Board. They had to come up with a new name, and that name's terrible. I don't like it at all.
I
But
don't like it at all.
I'm
I
glad
don't.
that they get to still do stuff. I was gonna say like this could maybe create more freedom for them, but they already had like a ton of freedom. They kind of showed what they wanted anyway. So
Yeah, well, I will say is that like, now it's nice that will one of the guys on the podcast literally owns the business, so they can literally work on it together. And I'm sure House of Highlights was great because they were able to do what they wanted. But now I think they just wanted to really be independent. And there's nothing more independent than literally being on the company you started. So I'm
yeah,
happy for them. I just wish they picked a better
the
name.
name is bad. I really don't like the name.
Four-man game.
Oh God. Yeah, it's like not like super like news breaking and to our listeners and stuff, they probably don't like really care. I just thought it was worth mentioning because we talked about it before. It was kind of a podcast that one of the few I think that inspired us to do this, and we've been talking about doing this for years and seeing. I think those people especially because they're all friends. They're like friends that grew up with
Yeah,
each other and know each other, and that's what me and you are. Whereas a lot of podcasts are like just kind of two or three
professionals.
like professionals that just do a podcast with each other, but they're not necessarily like a tight knit group. So I thought that was kind of
Yeah.
that's like the relevance of that podcast to me as a person and like a listener, and then also to like our dynamic, I think.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I'm glad that they're still going to be making content, which is great. I'm excited to see what they do. And I'm glad you talked about this because I didn't even know this was a thing. I saw it on the on our little outline that we have, and I honestly didn't know what TDW was. I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess they'll tell me." And then
Yeah,
right before we started, I was like, "Oh, Through the Wire." Yeah, got it. But yeah, thanks for letting me know. I didn't even know.
yeah. So maybe we'll go to a numbers on the board live show eventually. We'll see.
We'll have to.
And
Numbers on
I'll
the
bring this poster.
board. Yeah, yeah, we'll bring in like what happened to this? What happened? It was so magical. But a lot of things, including that happened. But
That was like a yeah, it was like a 15-minute top of show. Let's actually dive into
yeah,
basketball.
let's dive into some basketball real
If
quick.
you skipped ahead, this is the right spot right here because now we're
Right
getting into
here.
the thick of things.
This is the
Thank
one.
you for those that listen. Thank you for sticking through the first 15 minutes about randomness. But we like to update you on what's going on in our lives and stuff before we dive into
Yeah,
hoops. But let's get into hoops because like 2 weeks we're gone. We got a lot of hoops, a lot of
two
hoops to
weeks is a
cover.
lot.
Tell me
Yeah,
about the Los Angeles Lakers. How
I
have
don't
they
even
been the
want.
last 2 weeks?
I don't even want to talk about the Lakers, man. Let's just go to the next thing. It hasn't been very pretty, especially
Okay.
since they won the in-season tournament, which is an accomplishment, and they should be very happy about that. But they have lost games they should have won. They lost a game last night to the Miami Heat without Jimmy Butler, and I have to say I was worried
Hmm.
because they lost the last 3 out of the 4 games, and they're currently now below 500.
Hmm.
Couple things that have happened during this. Gabe Vincent is back out. He's going to be getting knee surgery. He's out for another 6 to 8 weeks. And then, I mean, there was the whole thing about LeBron, and at the end of the Timberwolves game, if he made a 3 or a 2. And what do you think? Do you think it was a 3 or a 2?
So I looked at the play. I think it was a three. I think the foot was clearly behind the line. I think when the foot is on the line, it obscures the line, but the line was like perfectly in view. So it was like, oh, I see the shape of the arc.
Yeah,
So therefore, his foot's behind the line. Therefore, it should be a three. And in time, they can rule it as a two, and that's fine. But that's why we have replays and reviews. And
yeah.
I don't know if you know this. I don't know if we talked about this in the pod. I've definitely heard it, but I don't know if we talked about it. Um,
Hmm.
Throughout games this year, they've been doing like constant replay reviews. So like someone will shoot a three, and then somebody like in a booth away from the game will go back and like look at it and make sure the guy's foot was behind the line. And if it's not, they'll change it to a two. Like they'll tell somebody and they'll adjust the game score like minutes after that play's already happened. So
Yeah,
then teams are like, wait, what happened at like this point? Like they have no idea basically. So if you can do it for a random shot throughout the game, a game time shot at the end seems like something that we can overturn. Um, and it would have
yeah.
it instead they kind of as a two, so the Lakers were down one, and the Timberwolves had the ball with like 1 second left, rather than the game being tied with 1 second left. That's a big difference, of course.
Yeah, big difference. And also, I did notice what you were talking about, because usually the commentators will say like, "Oh, remember the 3 that they took in the corner was actually a 2, so
Right.
now it's the 2." Which I like, but I agree. Like these things, especially when it's at the end of the game like that. They Isn't there also a rule now in like the last minute they like check every foul play to make sure, or every
Yeah, as you
they
get
make
to the end of the game, the refs basically check everything.
yeah, yeah, which I kind of, especially in a close game. But that was just a very, demoralizing loss, right, for the Lakers, and then
Hmm.
especially against like the best team in the West. So that win would have meant a lot, but it didn't happen that way. The loss to the Heat again without Jimmy Butler.
I
It's
saw
just
with that game a lot of I think it was Darvin Ham in the post game presser talked about how the loss of players like Gabe Vincent, I think Rui Hachimura was injured in that game, or maybe the previous game. He got injured recently.
mhm. Yeah.
And some other guys that were out for the Lakers. He said that's more impactful than the Heat not having Jimmy Butler. And I was like, I don't know if I can go there.
This team was supposed to be built so that if one guy is out or needs to step up, they can. Like it can be anyone's night, right?
Right.
But this team just isn't gelling in that way. And I know like something came out today that Darvin Ham and the Lakers are like the players are growing disconnected because of rotations and adjustments. I mean, D'Lo was benched. He's now not in the starting lineup. They were running LeBron, AD, Jared Vanderbilt, Torian Prince, and Cam Reddish,
Mhm.
which is basically 2 superstars and then 3 like defensive minded players.
Sure.
Um, and then having D'Lo and Austin Reeves off the bench. And the thing is, they still haven't been winning games. I mean, I don't. It's hard to say exactly. Maybe they just need the All-Star break. Maybe they've just been like kind of running on fumes like this last month. I think that's what happened last year. But last year they had the trade that got
Right.
D'Lo and all these other pieces that kind of lifted them up. So I don't know what's going to happen. I Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I thought the whole purpose of Austin Reeves getting benched earlier in the year it was that him and D'Angelo Russell couldn't work well together out the court. So you bring Austin Reeves off the bench to provide some of that ball handling and some of that scoring. Now with both of them coming off the bench, I don't really understand.
Yeah,
Because I think they kind of get in each other's way. I think Austin Reeves has been really good, and probably should be moved back to the starting lineup if D'Angelo Russell's not in the starting lineup. And the thing about this that sucks is that LeBron and Anthony Davis have both been like awesome. Like they've both been really, really good. I was looking at Anthony Davis's numbers for like the last 10, 12 games. He's averaging like 38 and 4 on like really good, percentages.
yeah,
So when you have him playing like that, you have LeBron playing like he is in year 21, it sucks to see that it's not resulting in wins because I feel like in the past for the Lakers, it was, a matter of health for one of the superstars, usually Anthony Davis.
yeah.
Um, so to have both of them, run on all cylinders and still losing, that presents, I think, bigger questions, bigger problems.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I will mention also that yesterday Austin Reeves was in the starting lineup. But I think, like you said, I wonder if it's mostly because like Rui was out and Gabe Vincent, or I think they're just trying a lot of different things, seeing what's going to stick. But it's it's hurting the record. Like they should have won. When you look on paper, the Lakers are a better team than the Heat without Jimmy Butler. With
Mhm.
Jimmy Butler, different story for sure. Like who would be able to stop him, especially healthy. But without him, should be not an easy win, but a win. And I gotta give it credit to the Heat. Like they played really well. They played very unselfish basketball, which was very nice to see
The Heat are doing it again every year with these
every year.
guys. We
But and
doubt
they
and doubt and doubt.
and they had to do it with those damn Heat culture jerseys too. It was just a
Oh
spit
man,
in the face. Um,
no.
but I think I think in the East, Jaime Jaquez Jr. got the rookie of the week
Mm.
or rookie of the week, I think, yeah. Because he
From?
played really well from ESPN or something. An NBA. I don't know. You know how they
No,
do.
I meant where do you go to school?
Oh, UCLA. I thought you
UCLA.
like from what's your
What
source?
award?
um but yeah, I mean, like it's cool to see him playing very well for the Heat. And even I saw Nikola Jovic playing
Nikola
minutes,
Jovic. Yep.
and I think he was in double digits. So it was nice to see the Heat able to play and meld very well. Bam was crazy good. And so it sucks to see that the Lakers are like this, but I really do think that once I really hate to say it, but I think after All-Star break, they'll be able to kind of get it together. Right now, they're just gonna try to cruise and try to stay at 500, which I don't like seeing, but they do this all the time, and it's so upsetting to watch as like a Lakers fan.
Do
Um,
they make a move? They trade for Zach LaVine?
See,
What?
but I don't like that either because I really like the team as it is. Like, I don't know what
Mm.
you think, but I think this team has. I mean, put them like second seed. Like, this team
I
has
did. I
potential.
did.
You know what
It's
I
not
mean?
looking
Because
great right now.
because like again, like they're not all like 40 years old like they were a few years ago. There's not Russell Westbrook. There's spacing. They
Mhm.
have good players. Like, you could blame the 3-point percentage, the turnover, and like all that, and it matters. But there has to be something else going on. Like they're just not figuring it out. And I don't know.
Well,
I
I
don't
think
know.
another key to the Lakers' success in recent years has been, their number one, number two in defense.
Yeah.
And this year, I think their defense is good. I think they have individual players that are playing defense really well, like Anthony Davis playing super high caliber defense. But I don't think it's the group effort that they were getting from like the championship years with Frank Vogel, where they're just the number one defense and that kind of carried them through the playoffs with
Yeah, these
LeBron and Anthony
guys.
Davis half court clutch, clutch shot making and all that. So if the defense isn't going to be amazing, the offense has to step up.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And like when I was the games I did watch, especially like in season tournament stuff, and like right after, like their defense was really good. But for whatever reason, it's just been slipping, and I don't think these injuries have helped. And like yesterday, Christian Wood got minutes. Jalen Hood Schifino played minutes, and
That guy, remember him from Summer League?
yeah, I was just like, well, I don't understand. The one thing I will say, like,
One
if there's
pick
like
before Jaime
was
Jaquez.
oh, I was gonna say okay, that was gonna be my guess. But I was gonna say that if there's a silver lining to all of this, I will say that Max Christie, who's a second year player, has played very well. He played very well last night, made some very clutch shots when nothing else was landing. So
Mm,
that's nice to see at least.
right.
Yeah. But tell me about the Rockets, please.
Yeah, let's move on from the 10 seeded Los Angeles Lakers to the ninth seeded Houston Rockets, baby. That's right.
Yeah.
Um, we're 17 and 15. Somehow we have the same amount of wins, but three less losses because that's how NBA scheduling works. I don't, who knows. Now that sounds decent, but I am a little bit of a pessimist. I'm going to go over some of these wins here. Since December 17th, so about 3 weeks, we beat the Mavs, in which Omax Prosper was their leading scorer, and Marquise Morris started at the center. So no Luca, no Kyrie, no Derek Lively, and no some other guys. So not whatever. What that's a kind of a whatever win. Like if they
Dub's a
didn't win
dub.
that, that's bad.
Dub's a dub. Yeah.
Barely 2 points beat the Pelicans. Very very close game. That's good win. Good close game win. Um, beat the Pistons, the worst team of all time, and we beat the the Nets, who have been struggling lately too. So
Yeah.
it's like none of the wins are amazing. It's like no solid wins, but we have lost in that span to the Bucks, a good team, the Cavs, an okay team that's underperforming. Um, Similarly for the Hawks, I think. Pacers, good team, Suns, good team, 76ers, good team. So it's like all these other teams that are actual teams, we lose. Um, so that's not great. We have missed Dylan Brooks and Jabari Smith Jr. kind of here and there with some injuries lately, which is interesting because like this game we played against the 76ers, we had such a weird lineup and we gave like 41 points in the fourth quarter and they came back and won. So that was sad. But we're running like Camp Whitmore, Jeff Green lineups as like our 4 and 5 when Shingle's
Yeah.
on the bench. It's like that's nasty. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so speaking of Shitgood, by the way, he's awesome. He is like taking the jump. He's really really good. He's the best player on the Rockets by far, I think, this season. And we're gonna talk about him a little later because
I was gonna say the same thing. Very
he
cool.
he is he is a topic that we'll discuss at the very end of the podcast. Stay tuned, listen in for
Because
more.
he's a guest on the pod.
Oh
Maybe.
yeah, that,
Just
that that's
saying.
why we're gonna have him in. So now you have to listen. Sorry. Uh, and then Fred VanVleet, I think, has been really good offseason acquisition. I don't remember my exact take on this podcast when I talked about his really big contract, but I don't think it's as positive as how I feel right now. Like I feel like right now I'm like, oh, it was worth it. He's really helping our guys um, develop. Except Jalen Green. Jalen Green's not having a good year. That's why I gotta take this jersey down. I can't do it anymore. Um, no, not really, but I just I'm
You
probably
mess
tired of
up
this
in a
playing
few
anymore.
games and you're out.
He's just like, I think back to last year and I think of him and Kevin Porter Jr. almost as like a mini Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown in terms of how they run the offense. Not that they have the same skill sets and they're both kind of short guards compared to Tatum and Brown who are wings, but in terms of like my turn, your turn, ISO ball, pick and roll kind of deal. That's kind of what happened last year. And this year he's playing off ball, but he's not doing anything off the ball. So Fred has the ball and he's just kind of standing there like a catch and shoot guy. But I think it should be a little more than that. I alluded to this before with Trey Young, working on off ball movement and stuff. Kind of like Steph Curry. No one can be Steph Curry. That guy is special talent wise, but you have to be valuable when you don't have the ball in your hands. And he's not, and he's terrible at defense. And he only had 2 30-point games this year. So he's like just not having a great offensive year. He's not doing a lot when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, and then he doesn't play good defense. So it's just been kind of an all
Yeah.
around bleh year for Jalen Green.
Yeah. I do want to say I watched a little bit of the Rockets 76ers game when they played before New Year's. And they were playing very competitively. It was pretty close most of the game, but they just did not have an answer for Tyrese Maxey. I gotta
So
say
fast. The guy is
that
so
man,
fast.
that man can hoop. I mean, he had like 42 points. He had 40 points by the fourth quarter, I think. And in the fourth quarter, like he was just letting everyone else like get some shots in. But it was crazy to see that. And we're also going to talk about him a little bit later too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
what?
You're like, what is he talking about? Okay. But
Another guest of the pod.
yeah, still gotta say though that the exactly another guest on the pod. I still gotta say though, the Rockets having a winning record is nice to see.
I mean,
And
certainly nice to see after the last 3 years.
yeah, yeah. So must be nice. And Shingun is awesome. Like I loved watching him play. And Fred also, I think, are definitely like the bright spots that I've noticed too, watching them. Unfortunately, we could not go to a game. It did not work out this year together.
Yeah, we had some
Um,
scheduling conflicts, so we were going to go to the Pacers game, but I got back too late for that day, and then the Suns and 76ers game. That the Rockets are kind of good, were really expensive,
yeah,
and then the Pistons game, we both were traveling back on that day. So
literally, yeah. But it's okay. We'll be able to watch it, and we still have this pod, so we get to talk about it, which is nice.
interesting that like I feel like every year we've like been really into basketball. The Rockets always have home games. They're not never on the road at that time.
Yeah, it is also. I mean, and also, I think 2 years, was 2 or 3 years ago, they actually played the Lakers, which is pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to see Rockets Lakers. But moving on from that, we have just a couple like little things,
So
little news
quick,
things,
yeah.
some quick things we just want to kind of like get
Because
out
we
there.
fucking don't stop talking on this goddamn
We
Jesse.
don't. We can't stop. It's already been like 40 minutes. But we mentioned Jaime Jaquez Jr. earlier. On Christmas Day, he scored 31 points, just third. And he's currently in line for third for Rook of the Year, which is still true. I believe
Hard to
after,
surpass Chet and Wemby, but
yeah, yeah. So Chet's one, Wimby two, and then Jaime Jaquez.
there's a new Trey J in town.
I literally want to keep calling him Trey J. I'm like, there's already a Trey J. But yeah, it was a very good win for them, and they were missing Butler, and the 76ers didn't have Embiid, so it was
What a
good. And all,
terrible Christmas Day game.
yeah, that was the final. That was the last one, I believe, because Suns and Mavericks was right before, and like Luka just cooked. He just cooked them.
Naturally.
And then yeah, it was Celtics Lakers. I watched that, and it was kind of close. And then at the end, it got pulled away. But we're
Hmm.
moving on from Christmas Day. But Jaime Jaquez is definitely like a very good player for the Heat.
Let's hit some quick injuries here.
Hmm.
Gordon Hayward is out, missing a couple weeks. As Gordon Hayward does every year, it feels like. Ever since the Celtics tragedy where he broke his leg on like the first minute of the first game as a Celtic. It was
Crazy,
so bad. Like one of the worst clips in NBA history. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. You don't need
horrifying.
to watch it.
Yeah,
Um, but I think the only positive part of that team that has been missing LaMelo for a while is Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier has been awesome. I feel like I've always liked Terry Rozier, um, and kind of liked his game. And I mean, he was murdering the Kings the other day. I ended up beating the Kings by like three. It was like 141, 138.
yeah.
I just
I
didn't know
saw
what
the
to do with
score.
it.
It was like no defense whatsoever was happening.
Yeah, so he's been like the only bright spot. That team, not good. Well, not good teams. We have a quick note about all the not good teams actually
Yeah.
later. But another injury, Gary Payton II missing with a hamstring injury. He's going to be out for several weeks, is what the Warriors reported. He just came back from like a month long out with the calf trade, so he just can't catch a break. He's injured all the time it seems, and we both like him for his defense and he's valuable to the Warriors for that reason. So hopefully he can
Absolutely.
be healthy sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Also, no one's been talking about this,
No,
which I love that the note that you put. Oh, Ben Simmons has been out for 2 months, which every time I watch like the Nets or like a highlight, I'm like, where is Ben Simmons?
yeah,
I
I
always
feel like
think like he's on the Nets.
it's not like I feel like all these injuries we're kind of talking about, these first three are really quick and like no one really cares. But I'm like all these people who are kind of relevant. And Ben Simmons
Yeah.
especially is like that guy, his whole thing with the Sixers was about his availability and like it was, national news for several years. So now that he's out for the Nets, no one's like I
Yeah.
listened to several basketball podcasts and none of them are even mention it.
Yeah. It is
So
crazy. But yeah, he's been out with nerve irritation. And interestingly enough, the Brooklyn Nets just recently got fined $100,000 for sitting four players on December 27th, which was against the Bucks.
mhm.
And these players apparently were healthy enough uh, to play, but they were sat out for player coach's decision. And also, Cam Thomas played only the first quarter, and also Mikal Bridges only played the first quarter, and then did
Oh, I
not
didn't
play the
know that.
rest. Yeah, I like it was the four were Spencer Dinwiddie, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Royce O'Neal. I believe.
Who did they play in this game?
Yeah, I'm
Who
like
was on the
Nick.
court?
No. Nicholas Claxton was out. Royce O'Neal also played in the game, but only for the first
Oh
quarter.
wow.
So it's like Cam Thomas, Royce O'Neal, and Mikal Bridges only played
They're
in the first
running
quarter.
Dayron
And then
Sharp and David Duke out there.
yeah, and whoever else is on the Nets, because unfortunately I just don't know.
The corpse of Joe
Um,
Harris.
yeah, literally. But yeah, they got fined, and how do you feel about that? I was curious. I
That's
want to
good.
ask. Yeah,
Play
I think so
basketball.
too.
You get paid
Yeah,
millions of dollars to do it.
yeah.
I don't
Especially, I
care that
feel
you're gonna lose to a good team. That's how you get
literally
better.
think about the kid that got like tickets for Christmas to go see the Bucks play
Hmm.
against the Nets, and he's like, "Oh, I can't wait to see like this really good competitive game," and you just see like Giannis and Dame just hammering the Nets, and it was a close game,
Hmm.
but by the fourth it was a blowout, and they won by like 22 points. So I'm like, think about those people. And I understand like there. I read something about like they interviewed the coach for the Nets. Can't remember his name. It sounds French.
Is it Jacques Vaughn?
There you go. Sounds
Coach
French.
over there, right?
And he was saying like, oh, one game can ruin a player's career. I'm just thinking about my guys, and I'm like, what are you talking about? They
But
weren't
none
even
of them
playing
were
a good
injured.
game. Exactly. None of them were injured. So, anyways, I'm glad I
I
think that should be enforced for
This is
sure.
supposed to be a quick thing, but this made me think of a tangent that I'm gonna go on really quickly
I mean,
though.
that's why I did have it lower.
Yeah, I okay. I I have this kid at school that's really good at chess. He's
Okay.
like 17, and every day he asks me to play him in chess. Like as soon as I get to work, he has a chessboard set up. He's like, "All right, let's go." I'm like, "Okay." And at first I'd get like absolutely destroyed, obliterated by this kid, but I've because he's like really good. And I beat him a couple times, in like the past couple months. And today actually he told me like, yeah, you're like a lot better than when we first started playing. And like every time I played, I like have to think and stuff, and it's good for me because like you're good.
Yeah.
So the point is, I played someone much better than me, and over time, I'm becoming better at it. That's kind of how I think can be applied here too. Like, yeah, it's a good team. Yeah, you're probably gonna lose, but that's how you learn and get better.
Exactly. And
Play
the thing is, teams like the Nets can beat the Bucks. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like it's
any
not
given
like
night.
what's up?
Any given night.
Any given exactly. That's what I like about It's because it really can be just anyone's game. And for Royce O'Neal could put up 35. Like you never know,
Mhm.
right? And it sucks when they don't even get a chance. And I don't know. I know Mikal Bridges was interviewed and they asked him about sitting, and he said, I didn't. I was like, I don't know why, but I didn't like it. Like he was like, I wanted to play more, but they
Well,
didn't put
he
me in
was
the
an Iron
game.
Man for like the first 6, 7 years of his career. He didn't miss a single game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I respect that. And that's what a reason why like, we love Mikal Bridges. And, I yeah, I think it's a good thing. And if players healthy, they should play. That's plain and simple. But
All
a
the
player
Mets fans in Milwaukee are pissed.
as I would be too if I was there. But talking about injuries that, a player is taking like some more time off, which is totally understandable, is Aaron Gordon. Like I got this notification, I could not believe it.
You
Apparently,
were sitting next to me, right?
I think I sent it to you and I saw you later, and I was like, because we met up at Cece's, and I was like, "Did you see the thing about Aaron Gordon? That's crazy."
Mm,
And he said, "Yeah, it's crazy."
it is crazy.
But yeah, he got dog bites on his face and hand on Christmas Day. And the thing is, like, he's been cleared to play, but he's met with the Nuggets, and there was an interview with Mike Malone, and I really liked this. He was talking about how not all injuries are physical, some are mental, and he's just not ready to play. And the Nuggets are fine without him, and like I'm glad that they're letting him take like this time to just get better and feel better, whatever that means to him.
I wonder if they'll ever release more of like what occurred, what happened here, what was
Yeah,
the
it is.
context.
Like it's just out of like a family outing, and the dog,
Right.
because like sometimes it happens. I love dogs, I love cats, I love all animals, but sometimes dog bites do happen for one reason or another, and I just hope he gets better soon. and we see him on the court because the Nuggets are better with him on the court, and basketball is better when everyone plays. So just get well soon.
Yeah. I want to talk about something, and I want to get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
Jordan Clarkson, which these guys were blowing out the Mavericks in the fourth quarter. They ended up beating them by 37. Um, and Jordan Clarkson's out there chasing rebounds, like desperately chasing rebounds to get a triple double in this 37-point blowout. Now, granted, first triple double for the Jazz franchise in 15 plus years, which is an insane thing to think about, based
Yeah.
on how the modern NBA goes. What are your thoughts on the chasing rebounds to get a triple double in an absolute blowout win?
I think it's okay because it's like, especially in a blowout, it's like, okay, since the team is winning, now I can think about me as a player. Oh, I'm close to a triple double. Yeah, okay. Like, and what I like is there's a lot of clips of like
And the
other
coach playing it.
players. Yeah, it was funny. Is like there's also a lot of clips, like not of this, but where like other players know that like a player's close to triple double, so they don't get a rebound. They're like, "Come on,
Right.
get the rebound."
They
Yeah,
like
like
box out for
yeah, exactly.
them.
So I don't hate it. I think it's fine. If you're what wasn't like one of like the biggest thing like Russell Westbrook's like that haters
Yeah,
would always say is that
everyone
he's just
always
a
used to say it. Yeah, yeah. That he was stat padding, but it
that's just
wasn't
his
that.
game.
It
Yeah,
it
it's just his
was
game.
get the
Yeah.
rebound and go in transition to initiate offense faster. That was like the
Yeah.
whole point of it.
It's also not that easy to get a triple double. Like you can't
Mhm.
just will yourself to get
If
a triple
anybody could
double.
get a triple double, people would just be getting triple doubles left and right.
Exactly. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. But it was cool to see that. And like I said, like since it was a blowout, I mean, why not?
I think I'm
Um,
more okay with it because the Jazz are a bad team, if that makes sense.
so if it was like it was
Like if
like the
Jason Tatum was
Laker.
chasing rebounds
Oh,
against the Wizards, like I'm like, oh my God, what is going on here?
I still think I'd be okay with that because like if they're up by like 35, I'm like, sure, get your triple double. But that is funny. And also who'd the Mavs have out? I didn't even look. They had to have like
No, they played. Luca played. I think Kyrie may have played. Maybe Kyrie. He had been out for a while, but he's back now. I don't know if he played this game,
yeah.
but Luca played. That's all that matters. Luca played this game.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say did Luca that was when that's what I meant by did everyone play? I meant Luca.
did that guy play? Yeah,
Yeah.
an 87-point swing because last time these two teams played, the Mavs beat them by 50.
Oh
And then
right.
Luca had a triple double the first half, and then this
Yeah.
time the Jazz won by 37. So an 87-point swing and two matchups is the largest in NBA history.
Damn, they were upset about that 50-point loss. They came with a vengeance. But I mean that was cool to see.
It's crazy.
Also young Jordan Clarkson's not young, but Jalen Johnson back on the Hawks since
Ah,
December 26th. They went 4-10 without him.
not
And
great.
yeah, they lost the Kings and Bulls
Not
after they
great.
got the return. Not great. But they beat the Wizards
Oh, that team sucks.
and they barely beat the Thunder. I remember
Yeah,
seeing that.
I originally made this note yesterday. We were going to do this podcast yesterday, and that was before the Thunder game happened. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, he came back and they lost to two like okay teams, so they beat a really bad team, so it doesn't actually matter. But then they beat the
Yeah.
Thunder, so maybe it does matter.
Yeah, and what was also very cool is that last night Jalen Johnson had a career high, 28 points against the Thunder. So,
Mm.
good for him. Good young player getting his
Also, they could get eliminated.
shots up.
Played. All right.
All right. What else we got? What are the quick hitters we got?
Suns, they won four straight. When Yale came back, they actually just lost to the Clippers last night. But before that, four winners of four straight, and they are currently ninth in the West. I said the Rockets were ninth. The Rockets are eighth.
Yeah.
Um,
I was gonna say,
Rockets are
okay.
eighth. Lakers are 10th. Suns are ninth. It was the Rockets were ninth. Lakers were 10th. Then the Suns lost, so now they're ninth.
Yeah.
Because I made a lot of these notes yesterday, and a bunch of games happened, so some of them changed around. Um, but yeah, the Suns have had the easiest schedule in the NBA, and they're the ninth seed, and they can't get any other guys on the court. So
Yeah. That's crazy. And I had them first.
Yeah, this is what I
Um,
worried about when I put him at fourth. This is what I
no,
was worried about.
it made total sense. Next, my favorite team that I love talking about, the Clippers have won 10 straight. Well, starting December they won 10 straight. Then they did lose pretty badly to the Thunder and the Celtics, both very good teams.
Yeah,
But they have won four straight since, and they're currently fourth in the West, which does not make me happy at all.
yeah. The James Harden trade is looking pretty good right now.
Well, I gotta admit though that I again like I don't want to say I'm okay with it because it happened, whatever, but I like also that the 76ers are thriving too. I gotta
Mhm.
say. Like if it
Yeah,
was the other way around, I would be pretty upset. But I'm not upset, you know.
if that was hard to understand, because I wrote it in a way that didn't make any sense, listeners. So basically, the Clippers have won 14 of 16, um, and they're just killing it. But they did get
Mhm.
destroyed by two really good teams. So is it real? I don't know.
Yeah, well, time will tell.
What is real is the Celtics being undefeated at home. I did that another new a thing that like is not in the news at all. I was just like doing some research and looking, and I said these guys have not lost at home a single time this year. That's crazy. 16-0 at home, best record in the NBA.
Yeah, every time I've watched the Celtics game that was at home, the commentators always start like, "All right, is this the time? They've been undefeated so far. Is it gonna happen?"
First game of
And
the
it hasn't
season.
happened yet. First, now that, yeah, the more recent games, I'll have to
Two
say.
14-0 runs.
That is so
Dude, that's a
funny.
classic. No,
That's
that's
a
an inside
classic
joke. No one will
inside
understand
joke.
that.
Y'all won't get it, and you never will. So stop trying to.
Just know the Celtics were beating the Nets 28-2, and there's two
Yeah,
14-0 runs in
it was insane.
there.
The Celtics are on another 14-0 run. Um,
So good.
anyways, pivoting
Back to the
to
podcast.
I'm gonna we'll say I want to I'll say something kind of sad, and then we're gonna say something that's pretty cool.
Okay.
So, kind of sad thing to see is that Ricky Rubio, Cavaliers legend, is retiring from the NBA. He didn't say a lot in his announcement, except that he has some mental health struggles and he's doing better every day, but it just isn't serving anyone for him to play in the NBA, so he will be retiring.
Yeah, very cool of the Cavs for agreeing to a buyout. And I
Yeah.
saw it is possible he will go back to his home country of Spain and
Hmm.
maybe play professionally there. So
Yeah, very cool. And he's still what, like 31 or
yeah,
32.
he's pretty young.
Yeah, so it's not the end, but hate to see him go. He was a good backup, and hopefully he takes care of what he needs to because that's most important. But thank you, Ricky Rubio, for
That's what this podcast will be
the
titled.
basketball. Yeah, this
Ricky
is called
Rubio.
yes. Perfect name. Perfect name. But some good news that I saw today. I mean, good news depending. But I think it's pretty cool. The Orlando Magic are going to retire the number 32 in Shaquille O'Neal's honor, and he will be the first player in franchise history with his number retired. I didn't know the Magic had no numbers retired.
I didn't either, but it makes sense based on who I know has played for that franchise and the fact that their numbers now retired. What are your thoughts? I guess you said it was pretty cool. You think it's pretty cool?
I don't see an issue with it. I mean, did the Magic win anything? I mean, they went to the Eastern Conference
They
Finals
went
and
to the
lost.
finals. They lost to the Rockets.
Oh, right, that's what it was. That it was the year of Michael Jordan. Okay, I remembered that was the year he retired. Right. Shout out Rockets for winning. Hakeem Olajuwon, shout out.
Before I was
Um,
alive.
but that's where his career got started, and then he really blossomed when he got to the Lakers. But um, for Shaquille O'Neal being the first Magic to get his number retired, I am fine with it. I'm a little surprised that some other players haven't had their numbers retired.
I
Uh,
don't like it.
tell me why.
He was only there for like 4 years, I think. Not a long time. And yes, he did. He was a part of that team that went to the finals. You know who's a more important part of that team? Penny
Penny
Hardaway. He
Hardaway.
was there
Yeah,
for a longer period of time.
yeah.
So like, that happens. That being said, Penny Hardaway wore number one, which was then worn by Tracy McGrady on the Magic, who is awesome. And has been worn by several players since, currently being worn by Jonathan Isaac. Um, so it's like fine, I guess, that it's Shaq. And I feel like I do feel like though a lot of it is because of Shaq's success post Magic. It's not like 4 years of just Magic history. all right, great. Like we're gonna go ahead and retire your number. I think it's a lot of the post Magic success that Shaq had as a player and also as kind of a personality, a media member. You know, I think that's kind of the reason his number's getting retired. Um, Kind of like how the Heat have retired Michael Jordan's jersey for whatever reason. Um,
Right. I totally forgot that was a thing. I thought it was a joke.
yeah, so it's like it wasn't for Magic specific reasons. I think that's the thing I have the most issue with. Obviously, I'm not like super familiar with the Magic franchise,
Yeah.
and I can go back and think of some players, but they never had like any huge postseason success or anything, so it would be hard to kind of pinpoint players. I'd be like, you're gonna retire Jameer Nelson's number, or, you know, Vucevic, who's still in the league.
There is one player who we haven't mentioned who did the exact same thing that Shaq did.
Brought them to the finals. Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard,
Yeah.
baby. That's so like
That's a number to retire. Dwight Howard
that.
for sure.
Yeah, that's exact. So that's why I thought his number was retired. Like, there's a couple of players I thought were retired, would have
Dwight's
been
too
retired.
like recent in the league to be retired.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, if Shaq's getting his number retired, I feel like Dwight Howard has to because he also led them to the finals.
Right.
And was DPOY, I think, too.
Retire Hito Turkoglu's number.
Oh, please, 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 please. But I mean, I agree. Like Penny Hardaway was another name that came to mind, and T Mac. But that's where it gets weird. Like two like great
Just
players
retired.
at the number
Everyone that's
one.
won the number one retired.
Yeah, it would be funny to have two number ones hung up in the rafters. But um, I think it's fine. It's just a number retired. It's not like it's gonna change anything too much.
Right.
But congrats to Shaq. And I know he has everything he could ever want, but congrats to him.
4 doctorates.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
uh,
Pretty cool.
I don't know what they're in, but I've heard him say it, so it must be true.
Pretty cool. But now let's get into some a trade
Some
that
bigger
happened.
news, yeah.
Yeah, some big.
Let's
It's a
talk.
little bit of bigger news
We
that
haven't talked about
happened.
this trade at all.
Yeah, I know.
So,
It's kind of been killing me, and I've actually been looking into it, been watching. So yeah, break down the trade for me, Damon.
sure. So those of you listening probably already know, but if not, don't worry. That's what we're here for. The Raptors of Toronto traded OG Anunoby, Precious Achua, and Malachi Flynn to the New York Knicks for RJ Barrett, who returns to his country, Emmanuel quickly, and a Pistons second round pick, a little more valuable than people might think because the Pistons are awful. Um, so the thoughts, who wins the trade? Is there a winner? What's next in the docket for these teams? Are they done making moves? And then I think it's worth noting that Miles McBride was extended like right after the trade was made for 3 years, 13 million. That is a really good contract. He hasn't played that much in the NBA. He was drafted just a couple of years ago, but that's in today's NBA, like 4 million a year basically is a steal, and he's gotten increased rotation minutes since. So, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
So the first thing I want to say is that my initial reaction to reading this was the Knicks lost. That was my initial reaction. I thought RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly were way too valuable for basically just OG. Precious and Malachi Flynn they can be good rotational players, but they're going to be toward the end of the bench, just being honest. Precious will be nice because the Knicks are missing Mitchell Robinson
All
for a
the
bit.
injured centers, yeah.
So, I like that for that reason. But
I do like Precious. I don't know if Malachi Flynn will ever play, but I like Precious.
yeah, and I've always liked Precious. I mean, he got drafted by the Heat, then he went to the Raptors, and but I don't hate that part. What I just didn't think that made sense to me was RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly, because then I was thinking on the Knicks side, when Brunson's out, who's running your offense? And then thought about it a little bit more. I was like, I guess Julius Randle, but then you only have two guys that can handle the ball. So I had my doubts. Let me just tell you that much.
David Fournier.
But I can't believe he's still playing on that team. It's crazy.
He doesn't. He doesn't play.
Sorry, I was gonna say it. So I should. Yeah, I was gonna say correction. He doesn't play. But I've watched some highlights. I've looked at some things, and I gotta say, I think it's to me seems like a pretty good equal trade.
Mm.
The Knicks needed some defense, someone that can, especially since Mitchell Robinson is out, who's playing defense on these guys. Like Julius Randle's not a known defender,
Mm.
Brunson's not. OG is that guy who can take on the best other team's best player.
I feel like,
And
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say also that his shot has gotten a lot more efficient and better as
Mm.
well. Like he was making corner threes in his debut for the Knicks, and they've also won the last two games that he's been
Beat
playing
the
in. This
mighty
will all,
Timberwolves.
yeah, and also I'm pretty sure the Raptors have won their games too.
Mm. Win
Yeah,
win.
except for the game that the Pistons broke their losing streak, which we
Oh,
did in
God.
May.
We'll talk
We
about
should
that
have.
in a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's actually I see. But we're not talking about that right now. But that's my initial reaction to the trade. What was yours?
My initial reaction to the trade was that of shock because, you know, the Memphis Grizzlies last season, 1 year ago, offered like 3 or 4 first-round picks for OG Anunoby. And the Raptors declined. They said no, thank you. Now, to be fair, last season the Grizzlies I think finishes the 2 seed, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so
Yeah,
that's
they
going to be
were.
pretty high picks. You know their core is pretty young with Ja Bay Jackson, so maybe you think this team's going to be really good. There's going to be late picks every year. Um, Granted, that's fair. I just thought I saw RJ and I saw Emmanuel quickly, and I thought, oh, that's it. Um, I think I think they're making bets here. I think they see RJ Barrett, they see the potential, and I think they see that the situation he's in for the Knicks may not be the best situation for him, and he may just need somewhere new to get a fresh start out of Tom Thibodeau, who is known for like running his players into the ground. OG Anunoby's played like OG Anunoby played like 36 minutes the like first game he was a Knick, like already just run him out there. So maybe somewhere new is better for him, and maybe they're taking a gamble there. And then Emmanuel quickly being the almost six man of the year last year, maybe they think he has more in him. So I think they're taking some bets, and I think the Scotty Barnes they're kind of deciding that I think Scotty Barnes is the future, and we're gonna try to build around him, and they think those pieces fit. Um, Barry, in our second episode, talked about offseason grades. I said the Raptors need to blow it up. It's not going to work with this team. We're not going to do it. Seems like they're finally taking a step in that direction, so I'm glad for that. I think OG's fit with that team with Scotty Barnes and Pascal. It's like three small forward, power forward guys, basically. Um, so it didn't really work super well. So I was fine with the Raptors trading him. I think the Pistons, like I said, the Pistons second round picks a little more valuable. It should be like 31 because they're the worst team in the NBA. So that's kind of like a late first round pick. And then the Knicks, I thought was interesting. They made this move because I think Ochianubi is good and a good role player. I don't know if he's the role player they need. And I don't know, like, it seems like a win now move, right? So they're trading two young guys for a more established guy who will maybe work with the guys they already have. I just don't know if they're like a win now team. Like, does this trade make you better than the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers? Probably
Yeah.
not. Um, and they didn't really give up a ton of assets, just guys. And I feel like you know, RJ it wasn't really working there, but quickly I feel like it was definitely established role on that team that he was doing pretty good at. Not as good as he did last year. I think he was kind of slumping this year, but it was just kind of interesting, like decision. I just didn't like really get the reasoning for it. You mentioned the defense. I think that is important. I also um, heard that OG Anunoby, who is going to be a free agent this offseason, and he is a 3-and-D wing, those guys will get $25 million, easily because that's like the most desired position in the NBA for a GM to have.
Hmm.
That he wanted to go to the Knicks. The Raptors don't want to go to the Knicks. So with this trade being made, it makes me think that there's already kind of a hush hush under the table deal where he's going to extend and be there in the future. So if that's the case, that's good. If you make this trade, he walks in free agency. That's a
Yeah.
disaster.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, you
I,
definitely don't want that to happen. And I think
I assume there's an
uh
agreement already made.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly are still under contract for a
RJ just
bit.
got extended for like 4 years, so he's
Right,
he's
yeah,
a
yeah.
Raptor forever.
Yeah, yeah. I see that was my thing too, is I really didn't understand why Emmanuel quickly was involved in the trade.
Mhm.
Because I thought, I mean, a one for one trade, OG and RJ wouldn't make sense, but like RJ a pick as valuable as the Pistons and OG, I was like, that makes sense. But then they threw in Emmanuel quickly. It was I wish I could hear how those negotiations went a little bit more, because like you said, it felt more like IQ had a role, come off the bench, microwave, be a scorer when Brunson's sitting on the bench. And
Yeah,
I'm not, sorry, you go.
I was gonna say, I mentioned the Raptors taking gambles, so to speak, on Barrett and quickly.
Yeah,
The Knicks, I guess, are taking gambles now on Quentin Grimes, who hasn't played a ton for them this season and has
yeah,
complained about the fact that he hasn't played for them this season. So maybe he takes on some of that secondary ball handling role, like you mentioned, as well as Miles
yeah.
McBride, who I talked about for the extension. Some of those guys, I guess, they're expecting to step up and fill that gap here.
Yeah, and we'll see. I also just wanted to say that I'm not worried about Emmanuel quickly on the Raptors.
No,
He
no.
had a really good game
Mhm.
yesterday. He scored like 26 points, and I think Schroeder's out because quickly's been starting. Um,
Yeah,
but I
Shooter
don't.
was out. Shooter kind of got benched because their spacing over there is horrendous.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, so I saw quickly an RJ start, which I thought was pretty cool already. Um, short into their Raptors career, which was cool. But like I said, now I'm kind of okay with the trade after kind of seeing how it worked out. Like initially, I did not like it, but
Yeah. He wears number 8, OG for the Knicks.
yeah, not bad.
Gross.
You don't like it?
I don't like the number 8. I feel like for him it's fine, but like the number in general, I'm like,
Leave, walk out the door, walk out the door.
yeah, Kobe, I guess. I was like,
Oh,
what? I was
really?
like, what? I
Yeah.
was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, come on, man. Come on. The number eight. No, I like the number eight. And also I was also glad to see that RJ and IQ both have the same numbers, which is very nice.
Mm,
It worked out. I would hate to see quickly in like a number six. I'd be like, just wear a five. Why? It is infuriating. It shouldn't, but it is. Like, I can't believe Sabonis is not 11. He's number 10 now. It's just infuriating.
yeah, yeah.
Just things like that. Anyways, we're not going to talk into that. But I think the trade was good. And I'm curious to see. I liked your point a lot about like how it's a win now move for the Knicks, but they're not really a win now team. But maybe
Yeah,
this
we'll
is
see.
kind
We'll
of for
see
the
how they. I
future.
mean, they're like
Yeah.
the 7th seed, 8th seed right now. They're not super high in the standings, so we'll see how this helps them
Yeah.
throughout the season.
Yeah, for sure. I mentioned this already earlier, but the Pistons finally won a game
They got 3 of
after
them.
28. And now they have three. And they are 3-31.
That's so bad.
Uh,
That's almost half the season. You won 3 games. That's so
yeah,
crazy.
they tied the longest losing streak for the NBA, and I was kind of like, just go for one, lose one more game, and you would
They had
have
the
it.
most in one season.
Yeah,
Like, yes,
which
there was a
is
team that had losing from last season and then losing to start the next season. I
yeah,
guess that's what happened, and that streak was 28, but 27 was the one season streak. So they
but see
beat
that,
the one season streak.
yeah, but see that is crazy. Imagine that team like lost five at the end, and then they started the season with 0 wins and 23 losses. Like I want to know
Oh
what that, you know
man,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like that'd be crazy. But yeah, they played the Jazz yesterday, and they went to OT, and the score was crazy, 154 to 148.
yeah. That's a
Uh,
nut score between two horrible teams who don't play defense.
no defense whatsoever. But I'm glad they got their third win. But I'm like I
I'm glad they got their third win. That is a
uh,
crazy thing to say.
that should be the name of the podcast. They got their third win. So
I legitimately when I was thinking about this podcast and the Pistons hadn't won this game yet, I thought about what if the title of this podcast were the Pistons the worst team of all time?
oh my God. I mean, but I
They're
guess
on pace,
that's
by the way, winning percentage wise. This is on pace for like the worst team in the
yeah.
NBA history. So
No, it is crazy. And I mean, what's wrong with the team? I don't know. I haven't really watched a lot of it, to be honest, because I'm just like they're gonna lose. Why would I watch it?
I don't know.
But at least Cade Cunningham's been playing really well. I've been looking at the stats. Like he's
He's
not.
played really well. I think some people are thrown off by his plus minus, but I think what they need to understand is that the plus minus of the entire team is awful because they get blown out every game. So like the numbers for every player on the roster aren't gonna look good because they're losing by 25 points every game. But yeah, I think it is a guy who has the ball in his hand, who is still young and inexperienced, is trying to grow as a player at the
Yeah,
professional level, which is fine. That's what you expect. Doesn't have a lot of veteran help, like you see with the Rockets with Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, those guys this year. There's Bogdan, or I'm sorry, Bojan, not Bogdan, Bojan Bogdanovic.
there you go.
Um, he's older and has been hurt. There's Joe Harris, who is on that team. I have no idea what he does, but he's there.
I know.
There's
It's,
Alec
it's
Burks. Like, there's a lot of older guys that aren't doing much. I think maybe what they need is like some culture guys to establish the winning culture. Like Fred VanVleet for the Rockets, he's has won NBA championships. Jeff Green literally just came off a championship and has been on
yeah,
so many winning teams in his career. So I feel like they have veteran players, but they don't have veteran proven winners that are,
yeah,
guys in the locker room. Vocal guys, I think, is maybe what they're lacking. Um, Establishing a lot of bad habits right now, which you hate to see when you're losing like this. I not only imagine going into the locker room after losing your 26th straight game, what that feels like to be an NBA player, and that's how you feel. That can't be good for you and for your future. So I just hope, like, especially the young guys aren't holding their heads down too much. As long as they're going out there and giving it their all, like a sorry, I can't point at him to blame. I think he's been playing defense, rebounding,
exactly.
all that. So it's like a lot of individual talent that doesn't mesh together very well.
Yeah,
The Wiseman and Bagley bets not working. Um,
not working at all,
Jalen
which
Duren
is
has been
crazy.
good, but he's
Yet,
been in and out this season.
dude,
Stewart has
yeah,
been good, but he's kind of a center. They play two centers all the time. That's probably part of the problem.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, they've got a lot going on. Monty Williams is the highest paid coach of all time. They have 3 wins. So they did just hire a assistant coach, Brian Anderson, I think is his name. I don't
okay,
know. So hopefully, that fixes something. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know.
I don't know. Just hope, like maybe, like hope the nightmare of the season ends, and then you over the off season you try and get that veteran presence. Like just get like a guy or two, maybe toward the end of their careers who aren't like doing so well. Just give them like another shot of like mentoring some guys. Give them a little bit higher contract than like they'd expect anywhere else, or higher than a vet minimum. Just something that kind of establish a culture. Like Detroit has this gritty like bad boy culture, right? But maybe get somebody that would just help them at least grasp that identity, or at least make a new one. But
They need
obviously now it's not happening.
they need shooting very
Yeah.
badly. Cade can't shoot. Killian Hayes can't shoot. Jalen Duren can't shoot. Asar can't shoot.
Oh, solution. Sign Steph Curry. Boom.
True. Marcus Sasser could kind of shoot, but that guy doesn't really play that much. It's like
Yeah.
obvious problems with not obvious solutions, I guess.
Mhm.
I was talking to Jared today about the Pistons. Shout out
Oh,
Jared,
right. Shout out, shout
uh,
out.
Detroit sports fan who listens to the podcast,
Legend,
so he'll hear
Detroit
this.
legend, Detroit legend.
Um, yeah, I was talking to him, and he told me the highest scoring NBA game in history. It was like the Pistons and some other team in the '80s. It was like 186 to 184, like triple overtime. I thought that
That's
was
crazy.
amazing.
That
Um,
is that is really crazy. I was gonna say it has to be overtime of some sort. Okay.
I was like, oh, the high scoring game. It must be like the last 2 seasons because teams are just scoring, at the wazoo. But no,
I think it'll happen. It'll happen. It'll
yeah.
bit past soon enough. But
I mean, every year we get a team or two that's like the highest offensive rating of all time.
yeah, like the Pacers had that, right? And also the Mavericks had that. I remember.
Yeah,
So,
the King. I think Mavericks like 2 seasons ago. The Kings last season. The Pacers this season. Every year, someone's breaking
yeah,
the mold.
it's gonna get better. I
Um.
mean, so we talked about the
Oh,
Pistons, but what are some other
yes.
teams who aren't doing so
Yeah.
well?
So I was looking at the Pistons, and I feel like the news has been about the Pistons because it's like, oh my God, the Pistons losing, 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 losing. I'm like, yeah, that's really bad. And I think kind of going under the radar here, there are one, two, three, four, 5 teams that have less than 10 wins.
Which
And
is crazy.
at least
Yeah.
24 losses. So Pistons have 3 wins, the Spurs have 5 wins, the Wizards have 6 wins, the Hornets have 8 wins, and the Blazers have 9 wins. So like
Come
that
on,
is
Blazers. You're right
not
there.
good. Not good. Yeah, feeling pretty good about the bottom of both of our conference standings predictions. 13 to 15, I think we absolutely nailed. I think these are the
Yeah.
exact teams we had. Maybe the order switched around a little bit, but we knew who the 6 worst teams were.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it is wild to see teams like this. I feel like it happens every year where I kind of think like I'm not gonna watch teams tank, but eventually they at some point in the season they kind of start doing it. And I don't think these teams are really trying to, like, the Pistons were not trying to lose 27 games, you know. Spurs are not trying to lose. Like, they started really hot. They beat the Suns twice, you know, and after that they were losing like every single game.
Which
So
of these teams do you think is in the worst position?
the worst position,
Like
I might,
future wise,
yeah, I might say Wizards.
I think it's the Wizards. There's
Yeah.
no,
It is the
there's
Wizards.
no blue chip young assets. There's Bilal Coulibaly, who has been kind of fun and exciting, and he's
Yeah.
young, but it's like Jordan Poole's been kind of terrible. Kyle Kuzma has been great.
We're talking about Kuzma a little bit though, by the way.
Yeah, Kisper and Avdia have been kind of whatever. Like,
Yeah.
at least
I feel like
the other
all
teams, you can talk yourself into some of the young talent potentially
yeah,
you have on the roster.
I agree. Like all those players you mentioned, like, I think are good NBA players and should be on different teams. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Right?
the Kyle Kuzma, Tyus Jones,
They don't
Jordan
have a
Poole
one.
experiment is not
They
it
don't have
was
a
not
guy.
working.
That's the issue.
Yeah, exactly. And it just yeah, they just really were just like getting whatever, sticking it together, and it's not going well. A friend of ours, though, I don't know if you saw, shout out Rob. Rob did
Rob,
see the Wizards play in DC and they won that game. I guess one of their 6 wins. I think they
hmm,
beat the Nets. So it was the Nets, I remember. But they did win.
not fan of Ugly Side Up, Rob. Sorry, Rob,
He,
if you're listening.
he is a fan.
Oh, well, I'm talking about Autumn's sister's boyfriend, Rob.
Oh, right. There's two Robs. Right. Sorry. Yeah, this is Rob, DJ, Stormbreaker. Shout out
That
Stormbreaker.
guy definitely doesn't listen to this podcast. I did show Autumn's sister's boyfriend, Rob, the podcast. I'm not sure if he listens though. So if he
Too many
did, if he
Robs.
is, we're welcome to the pod. Welcome.
Shout out to you as well. But yeah, no, yeah, you know, they win these random games, but it's not like they, put in like this crazy mounting effort to win. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah, I agree. Wizards are have the bleakest future, but it's also like a year or two could all be different. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Um,
Let's talk about the Grizzlies.
let's talk about Grizzlies. Let's talk about John Morant.
Ja
Um,
Morant.
do you want to show everybody what his new celebration is
No,
when
I
he
actually don't. I don't want to do that
we're not gonna
on
do
the
it. We're not
pod.
gonna do it.
Save
And
it for the thumbnail.
all we're gonna say is John Morant got in trouble for wielding a firearm on multiple occasions. And let's just say maybe he makes his hand look like something that it shouldn't look like.
That's what he
Um,
does.
which is so ridiculous. But the when John Morant came back, Grizzlies went 4-0.
And then we all thought, oh, here they come. And then
Here. And then they lost the last four.
they lost 4 in a row. Yeah, 2 close
Yeah.
wins over the Pelicans. One of which Ja hit the game winner his very first game back. Another one was really close too. I think both of those games, are toss ups when you have really close games like that.
Yeah.
So it's not like convincing, so to speak. It is convincing getting blown out by the Nuggets and blown out by the Kings. So what is this
Two
team?
very good teams.
Still
That's
not good, apparently. The Grizzlies are still not good. Why? I don't know, but probably. Oh well, I know why. It's what I mentioned when I predicted this team as the 11th seed way back in the preseason. I said no Steven Adams, no Brandon Clark, and no rebounding. They're doomed,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're doomed because Jared Jackson Jr., while being rated Defensive Player of the Year, friend of the pod, hack side
Friend of the
back there.
pod.
Love Jared
Yeah.
Jackson Jr. The guy's 6'11", averages 4 rebounds a game. So you know,
Yeah,
it's
you
tough.
gotta to win basketball games, you gotta rebound.
You have to have the ball to score the ball.
I never thought of it that way before,
Yeah.
but you're damn right. Uh,
Listen to your kids. We're all about the fundamentals.
yeah. Yeah, we're the big fundamental. That's us. New podcast name.
Hey, I have that guy over there. Yeah, that's him. Tim Duncan. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't that was his name the big fundamental
Big
or was?
fundamental. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought that's what you were alluding to.
I thought I kind of made it up, but then I also remembered it was something like I know he. Okay. Anyways, so I stole it on accident.
If Tim
Anyway,
Duncan
shout
makes a
out Tim Gunn.
podcast, that's exactly what it should be called.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so
And
we'll
if he
see what
does, he stole
happens.
the idea from us.
Yes, absolutely. You heard it here first. So we'll see what happens with the Grizzlies. And I think that they'll kind of end up toward the bottom. Maybe they somehow squeak in a play-in. We'll see. Maybe they'll kind of get get it together, but like you said, without a big or rebounding, it's like I expect to win.
Especially if you're going against Jokic, Gobert, Towns, uh, Anthony Davis,
Anthony
all these big
Davis.
guys in the West. How are you gonna win games if those guys are eating up the rebounds? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. But a team that tell me about a team that is not like the Grizzlies that has a very bright future.
Yeah, I have. Well, the Grizzlies could have a bright future.
No, I meant like this season. Let's talk
The
about this
Wizards don't
season.
have a bright future. That's for sure. Yeah, I want to talk about the Thunder. They went on a 5 game win streak here. They just lost to the Hawks last night by 3, really close game. But prior to that, they went on a 5 game win streak, including 3 wins over the Wolves, best record in the West, the Nuggets, defending champions, and the Celtics, best record in the NBA. They're currently the second seed in the West. So my question to you, is this real? Is this a conference finals level, team already? They're young, but they are kicking serious butt in the regular season. I think we both had them around the 6, 7 spot. I think, I expected some amount of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander regression last year. He was like a top 5 player. I was like, oh, that might have been like a fluke year. It's not. He's
Yeah,
like a top 5 player in the NBA. It's real. It's who he is. Chet has been rookie of the year front runner, like you mentioned earlier. He's been absolutely awesome. Um, and he had a presser the other day where they said, "Do you think you've like come out here and proved something to like people that may have doubted you?" And he said, "No, I played 30 games in the NBA. I have a lot more to do." And I said, "That's a great answer. That's an amazing
I love
answer."
that. Yeah, yeah.
Jalen Williams, J Dub, has had an amazing second year, really, really coming alive for them. Luke Dort has been really good. Josh Giddey has filled in his role. So like, is this team real? Do they need to do something? Do they need to push for a win now? Do they need to keep the team as is and just roll with it in the playoffs, see what happens? What do you think is the outlook for the Thunder this season?
I'm glad you asked. So this is what my opinion is. I think they will end up higher seed than we predicted. They'll make it into the playoffs. I think they will win like the first round, maybe the second round. But I think in the playoffs is when I think their experience will show. Like I just don't think they have been in the NBA long enough, like altogether, to kind of make that push for like the conference finals and then the finals. But
I think out of their relevant rotation players, they had 2 playoff series with Shea and Ludor
yeah,
on
exactly.
the
And
bubble year.
they yeah, and that was a first round, and that
Mhm.
was it. And so you know, but saying all of that, I don't think any changes need to be made. I don't think they need to get that superstar. Like I think they have a very good team. I think maybe they can get some better like role players, just like higher because like everyone you mentioned, great, but like everyone else, like after like Jason Wallace has a great rookie year so far. Isaiah Joe has been good, but like maybe just beef
Kendrick
up like your
Williams.
depth. Yeah, there you go. Other Jalen Williams, just beef up your role players for like next year. I think you roll with the team you have now. I really do. I don't think any changes need to be made this year, but I think after this year off season, start thinking about some things. What do you think?
I think that I'm inclined to be in agreement with you here, and I think my main reason is because there's benefit, and I talked about this earlier. There's benefit in losing. There's benefit in going into the playoffs with the guys you have, seeing the playoff environment for the first time. seeing what holes may pop up in your team then, rather than in the regular season. Giving those guys experience and then adjusting and coming back next season. Yes, you're second seed in the West. Yes, you may want to rush things. Yes, you may want to pair this piece and this piece and get this guy. But if that doesn't work out, then you pair those assets for a reason. Um, and you could be in a position like I don't know, like the Nets or something. They
Yeah.
trained a lot and they didn't really work out. That's different because it was like superstar, superstar, superstar. But there have been plenty of teams who trade for people before they really know kind of what they need. Um,
Yeah.
so I think there's benefit in going to playoffs. Let's say they play a lesser team in the first round, second round they run into the Nuggets or the Kings or someone that has a little more playoff grit experience,
Yeah.
and they get eliminated. There's no shame in a second round appearance for such a young team. I think that's a good thing for you.
I
Um, I
totally agree.
I will say the only caveat to that maybe for me when I look at the NBA, and I think soon we'll probably have like a trade episode where we talked about like what teams should be making trades and stuff because we're about a month away from the trade deadline.
Hmm.
Um, only thing that comes to mind maybe is Lauri Markkanen for the Jazz, All-Star last year. That team is clearly rebuilding and not going to be good anytime soon.
Yeah.
And I think they need some big guys because last year, if you remember, they were starting Jalen Williams, not J Dub, uh, at
Yeah.
center, and he's very skinny, uh,
Yeah.
young, obviously. Chet, while being good defensively, is also very skinny. Um, they don't have a ton of depth behind him to kind of shore up those minutes. And I'm not saying you trade for Lauri Markkanen to be the backup center. It just gives you like another option, a bigger option, because especially in the West, you think Jokic, you think Gobert, you think Towns, you think Anthony Davis. You're going to need some bigger guys, I think, to
Yeah.
kind of compete with the size that those teams have that are probably going to make runs in the playoffs. So maybe
Yeah.
someone like that, or if you want to make it a much smaller trade, like you mentioned, um, just trading for like a Jakob Poeltl. Now that the Raptors are selling things up there in the north, guys like that are just kind of standard big centers that will get
Yeah.
rebounds and play solid defense. Just some size. I think they maybe need to add. But yeah, I think if they did nothing and went and lost in the second round, that'd be okay too.
Yeah. I think this season already has proven more than to the world, but to themselves that they can be good. And I'm glad to see that because I feel like to me Thunder have been in purgatory for so long, just stockpiling picks, picks, picks,
And they
picks,
still
and
have
not
so many.
and they still have so many. Exactly. And like now they just look like they are geniuses. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, I think they should roll with the team they have. And I like those two trades that you mentioned, like a Pirtle or a Markkanen. I didn't even think of Markkanen. That's a pretty good one. Would just make them that much better. And that does that make them finals like material? I don't know. Probably not,
The youth and
but
the experience is hard for me to bet
it's
on,
it really is. But
especially when you have Nuggets and other teams out there in the West that are so like proven in the postseason.
yeah, but what I will say is I've watched some of their home games and their crowd is wild. So if they have home court advantage, I think it matters. So, you never know. Anything can happen. That's why I love the sport. But yeah, I don't think they should be making anything major trades right now or anything. Definitely not. I think they roll with what they got for
Yeah,
sure. But it's definitely not a fluke. I don't think
I hear
they.
you.
Yes. Rivalry talk?
I want to
Rivalry
talk about
talk?
this. It's my favorite topic in the NBA.
Okay,
Um,
let's talk about it.
so the Pacers and Bucks played in the tournament. We talked about this. Tyrese did the Dame time. Dame said, he needs to be humble. Because wasn't it, and then
Yeah.
Giannis scored a
Yeah.
career high against them. There was a whole game ball fiasco we talked about a couple pods ago. Um, Dame, by the way, not very good in the last two games. So the be
Yeah.
humble talk is not working. Um, but since New Year's, since January 1st, on January 1st, January 3rd, they played twice. The Pacers won both of those games. And there was a lot of hustle, a lot of heart. It was just like the in-season tournament, it's like a playoff environment. I don't know if you've seen this play, but towards the end of the game, TJ McConnell, who was having a great game off the bench,
Hmm.
was running at a ball out of bounds, as TJ McConnell does. He is a hustle player, a heart player. That's why we love him. Running out of bounds, dives, like grabs the ball, throws it off of Chris Middleton out on the Bucks, and he just gets up and starts screaming, and like the Pacers bench is like screaming with him, and they're up by like 6 with like a minute to go, and they're just like losing it because they're like they care so much.
I did not see that. I love that though.
Yeah,
Obviously, I love that.
it is great. It is a great for the NBA. I think it's great. You know, another reason to care about the regular season. It feels like these two teams have played each other 16 times this year
Yeah,
somehow. Um, I'm ready. I'm ready for a 2-7, a 3-6 playoff series. I'm so ready for it.
being we'll have to go to Indianapolis or something.
Oh my god.
Um, but no, I totally agree with you. I love the chippiness in the games, and at least it feels like to me that there is still like a respect between the teams. Like it's not just like knockdown, drag out. I hate you.
I don't know, man.
Uh,
I don't
but
know.
what I will say is that it's getting progressive. It's progressing.
Mhm.
And I don't like seeing, I don't want to see players saying they hate each other or don't respect each other, whatever. Like you do that on the court, you're playing the game, you do what you do to win. You do what you do to win, right? Off the court, I hope it's not like that. Again, I
Yeah.
don't know. They uh I don't know. I don't know how they talk to each other or anything, but I do love seeing competitive basketball, and by God, they're giving us competitive basketball.
No, I saw today. I saw Terry Salford. I follow him on Twitter, and
Okay.
he posted a highlight. And he doesn't really post a lot on Twitter. Uh,
Yeah.
he like reposts a lot of WWE stuff too, like WWE. But he posted a like an edit that someone made, I guess, of a clip, and it's like him doing like a step back three over somebody on the Bucks, and then doing like a little celebration after. And that was it.
Oh,
No
he
like
like
caption or
that's
anything. It was just a post of that, and I was like, oh okay.
okay. I see you. I see you. Very interesting. I will say Tyrese Halliburton needs to stop traveling. Um,
Everyone in the NBA needs to stop traveling.
Yeah, because there is this one clip that was circulating today on Instagram of Tyrese Halliburton like doing a behind the back assist to Miles Turner who's cutting and he dunks it. He literally takes 4 steps and like jumps on 2 feet and throws it behind him. And I'm like, that's what are you talking?
Hello?
That was like the easiest travel call I think I would have ever seen.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I still love good basketball and it's exciting. It's fun to watch and I think we will get a playoff series. I
Oh
think
man.
the NBA is rigged, and they will make sure it happens.
Or they'll beat up in the second round or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Or Eastern Conference Finals. You never know.
That would be an insane
Um,
conference finals. My
that would,
goodness.
yeah, oh yeah, because the Celtics would mean that. That means Celtics are out. Weird. Um, but yeah, interesting.
All right.
But
Lastly, tell me about your favorite player.
back to the West. Draymond Green, who we talked about, our favorite WWE fighter who plays in the NBA.
WWE fighter is crazy.
Yeah, also it would be WWE wrestler. I don't know if I said fighter,
It's a
but
fighter.
he's a fighter in the WWE. But he is set to return to the Warriors facility since just knocking Yusuf Nurkic in the head for no reason. Crazy. I've shown people that don't watch
That
basketball
brother
that
needs
clip.
help.
I've shown people that don't watch basketball that clip. They're like, "Why did he do that?" And I'm trying to explain it, and I just say,
That brother needs help. I'm so close to the camera.
get closer. That brother needs help. This brother needs help right here. But yeah, so he's missing his 11th game since the suspension. I don't know what it means. He's going back to the facility. Like, is he going to be part of practices? Is he just going to be there with the players? Like, I don't know. Did he do anything? Like, they were talking
That's a
about
great.
anger management classes, or did they just like take a breather? Is anything going to change? Like, okay. I want to ask you this. This is what I want to ask you.
Mhm.
If one more thing like this happens, what do you think should happen? Let's say they're like it's a few weeks. Let's say it's like end of February and he stomps on somebody's
Oh,
chest again.
stomping on somebody's done for the year. That like that's a, I feel like if it's a purpose, like it's so clearly a purposefully, aggressive act. he's definitely done at least for the year.
Well, he did it to
Um,
Sabonis.
yes, I know. Um, it's so interesting because like what is the NBA's level of responsibility? Do they have to guide Draymond back to the NBA? Is that not his own responsibility to become a better person or get help or whatever? Why is it them like you have to have anger management, you have to do this? Like why is it like a checklist for him to get back into the NBA like he's a preschooler?
I'll tell you why. Because think it's like a workplace. So if you
Hmm.
have something in the workplace that happens, they have you do the same things. Like if a student, I work at a college, so like if a lot of students start complaining about you yelling at them, then management, like the NBA, whatever, or like HR is going to be like, you have to take this like training, right? So um then again, this is a profession where I'll tell you this much, it's not hard to not hit people like that or put them in chokeholds. Pretty easy not to do that because everyone else in the league doesn't do it. So, I think I wish like the Warriors themselves organization would take a bit more responsibility. Instead of the NBA, you know, uh,
Yeah,
maybe sitting them out. Like
Warriors do a lot of
they
defending Draymond for sure.
Yeah, and I think it would be a great example if like he does something again and they're like NBA is not stepping in, we're gonna bench him. He's not gonna play. Like he has to come to the games, he's gonna sit there, but we're not gonna play him. Like I think like
And he's gonna scream from the bench because he certainly will.
yeah, but but again, like that is punishment. You know what I mean? Like you really are like putting him in the corner, not letting him and like he's not being like paid or what I don't know how that works exactly, but I'm pretty sure even when you're suspended, you're getting paid. I'm sure he's
Yeah,
still
I feel
getting
like it usually says
money.
like suspended without pay if you're
Yeah, feel like it would say that. But um,
so
you
he's getting a
know,
vacation. Okay. Good punishment.
yeah, it's just I don't know. It's tough to kind of I just hope it doesn't happen again, but I mean, it already happened twice. It's just so tough to know.
The man has a compilation of hitting people.
I know it's just he's too unpredictable, and I really hate that. I think we talked about this. Like this team and the organization defends him, and it's like it's just wrong.
Mhm.
You're hurting people. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see
Draymond
when
to
it
the
comes.
UFC.
Sure. Well, now we're gonna get to the big topic.
The
We're not gonna
big
spend
topic, the
like
thing that
way
I was
too much
happy we
time.
pushed it back a day for. As soon as I saw this today, I was like, oh, thank goodness. I don't want to wait a
We
whole week
got
to
we got
talk
to talk
about
about
this.
it.
I gotta talk
Um,
about this.
um,
What are we talking
how
about?
we are talking about this is the first fan returns from the NBA All-Star voting.
Oh, and if you don't know, listener, viewer, fan returns decides the starters for the All Star game. I mentioned this, or we mentioned this rather earlier this season. This All Star game will go back to the standard East versus West, three front court players, two guards per side. So the fan votes will decide the starting five, and then it's a combination of like coaches and media that decide the benches and stuff. So these fan votes really matter because they decide literally the first 10 All Stars, essentially. So,
Yeah, and so looking at these numbers, let's dive in a little bit. Let's do
okay,
West first, Western Conference first.
you hit me with the West, and I'll hit you with the East.
Okay, sounds good.
Actually, you hit me with the West. Let's go section by section. Hit me with the West front court. Let's talk about it, and then we'll move on from there.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay, so Western Conference front court in order.
Don't hit me
Um,
with the specific numbers of votes.
oh
Just
yeah, I
do the
wasn't gonna
order.
do that. Yeah, yeah. First, LeBron James. Second, Kevin Durant. Third, Nikola Jokic. Fourth, Anthony Davis. Fifth, Kawhi Leonard. Sixth, Paul George. Seventh, Alperen Şengün.
Yes, sir.
Eight, Victor Wembanyama. Nine, Chet Holmgren. And 10, Carl Anthony Towns.
Where'd we
Okay.
go? Well, let's what one by one. Like, what do we do here?
Yeah, one by one. Okay. LeBron,
LeBron,
obviously first.
great,
Like,
sure.
yeah,
He's first
sure.
every year.
Yeah,
Whatever. Do I think
yeah.
he's the best player in the Western front court? Probably not, but like, am
He's
I
gonna
fine with LeBron James being an All-Star starter? Yes.
he's still like the only player my mom knows in the NBA. So,
Sure.
you know what I mean? So people are gonna always for LeBron James, but I get it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant has two.
Yeah. You want to
I
hear my
get it.
thoughts?
I would I don't know if we want to talk about order, but I feel like
I'm one of the biggest
yo
Kevin Durant haters on the planet. Uh, because I used to really like the Thunder with Westbrook. And of
yeah.
course he went to the Warriors, and I was like, that's stupid, super team, whatever. The guy's carrying Phoenix. He is all there is. They're not like the 14th seed. His numbers are absurd. His shooting percentage is ridiculously efficient. Um, they've had a lot of injuries. I don't like Kevin Durant, his attitude, like personality, whatever, but um, he's been keeping that team afloat. His numbers back it up. I think he falls for me no lower than like 4. So
Yo,
I
yeah.
think
I mean,
so I think I'm okay with 2.
I was gonna like flip Jokic and Durant, but I don't think that matters. You're right. Kevin Durant,
Still a starter for sure.
still a starter for sure. Then Nikola Jokic, totally, totally fine with.
Back to back MVP 3 years ago, and then Finals MVP, and
And he's
best
still
player
averaging
on one of the best
triple. Yeah,
teams. Yeah,
exactly. Makes total
obvious.
sense. Anthony Davis is number four. He, like you said earlier, he has been playing very, very well,
Played very
given
well.
the Lakers are not, they're the 10th seed, but they're the
Lakers are the 10th
Lakers.
seed. Got 2 guys in the top 4.
Yeah,
That's LA, baby.
yeah, that's LA. So but I understand why he's there.
Right.
Um, why? So then we got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, which
Hmm.
I kind of find
LA,
interesting.
baby.
LA, yeah, it really is so interesting. But I gotta say, I do love that Shingun is included.
Mhm.
I really do. I don't. The one name I don't think belongs on here is Victor Wembanyama. I don't think he's a top 10 front court in the West.
Victor Wembanyama is not winning Rookie of the Year, so he certainly doesn't belong on an All Star list. And the guy that is winning Rookie of the Year, Chet Holmgren, one spot below him on this All Star list, also doesn't belong here. He's been a really good
Yeah,
rookie. He's not an All Star yet, and that's okay.
yeah, yeah,
That's just fans buying into the hype of these players as they're up and coming. That happens kind of every year. We have a couple guys. We have a couple other guys we'll talk about, I'm sure,
yeah.
that don't belong here. I think probably 8 through 10 don't belong here. I like Karl Anthony Towns. He's like, I don't know, the third best player of the Timberwolves this year. Maybe the second best player over Gobert, but Gobert's defense
Yeah,
has been phenomenal.
right.
But when I look at the West and I think front court, let's just take these bottom 3 guys, Victor, Chet, Cat. Let's just go through divisions here. If I go through I don't think the Blazers really have any front court guys. I don't think the Jazz really have any front court guys. Those teams have been really bad this year. That's fine. The Warriors front court, no. Draymond, not that guy.
Nope.
uh, we already covered the Clippers, the Lakers, Suns with Kevin Durant is fine. You can make an argument for Sabonis up here. Kings have been really good. He's the second best player on that team. So
Absolutely.
I think you can definitely have an argument for him being here.
Yeah.
Mavericks don't really have any great guys in the front court. Jared Jackson's not on here. That's probably okay. He has like good numbers because of Ja's absence earlier this season, but the team has been really bad. No Zion, no Brandon Ingram.
I
Uh,
was just about to say that. Yeah, yeah,
Pelicans are 5th, 6th in the West. Like they're not a horrible team.
yeah.
And those guys are
New
obviously one of
Orleans,
the best team
baby.
players. So we're missing some guys there. Ultimately, I don't think it'll matter in the 8 to 10 spots. I do think probably does. Like I'm okay with Cat over Chet and Victor,
Hmm.
but after that, it's like I don't think Chet and Victor belong up there. Um,
Yeah,
Kawhi and Paul
absolutely.
George have both been good for spurts of the season. One of Kawhi's first healthy seasons in a long time. So I'm okay with the Clippers being the 4th seed. I'm okay with them being there. Um, and I'm definitely okay with Shingun being there.
Absolutely.
Love that. I can make an argument for him being at 5. You know,
Yeah.
um, but I think the top 5 I'm really are really solid guys. I think like we said the top 3 are going to be the starters, and after that it's coaches and media that decides. So the
Yeah.
top 3 are LeBron, Kevin Durant, Jokic. Great,
Yeah.
no arguments.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
You know what you'd expect. Um, but let's talk about the East front
Okay.
court. What's going on over there?
So the East front court, in first we have Giannis, second Embiid, third Tatum, fourth Butler, Jimmy Butler, fifth Jaylen Brown. Sixth, Bam Adebayo. Seventh, Mikal Bridges. Eighth, Kristaps Porzingis. Ninth, Kyle Kuzma. Hello,
The
Kyle
GOAT.
Kuzma. 10th, Paolo Banchero. So that's the East front court. Yeah, let's take it one at a time. Yeah, I see Kyle Kuzma on your shirt. We got Giannis first. Yeah, that makes
Yes.
sense. Yeah, that guy's been MVP. He's been the captain. When they did the captain format,
Yep.
so makes sense. The Bucks are second best team, I think, in the East. So yep, I'm fine with that. Embiid, the guy that just won MVP, that's having an even better season this year. Yeah, I'm okay with that guy being
Yeah,
number two,
for
actually.
sure.
Tatum, who is the best player on the best team in the East. That sounds good to me. Um, and then after that is where maybe some question marks come into play. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, for
Um,
sure.
Jimmy Butler is good. He's also missed a lot of time.
Yeah.
And the Heat are like a fine team. I just don't know if he's like fourth best front court player in the East. Good.
Yeah. I like everyone mentioned on this except Kyle Kuzma. Even Paolo, like I'm like Magic have been doing pretty good. Like it's nice to see him get recognition. He
Mhm.
shouldn't be a starter by any means.
Sure.
Kyle Kuzma should not be on this. I said it again. I am gonna keep saying it.
Yeah.
Um,
The thing that's missing here for me, up and down season, but no Julius Randle.
yeah, I was gonna say I think that's where your head was going. Yeah, I think it's because I think everyone was talking about how bad of a season he was having in the beginning, and I think fans haven't caught up, like the majority of fans, that he's actually playing very good now.
Mhm.
That's why I think he's not included because New York is a big market, so it's not like people don't know him, but it's
Celtics
yeah,
have three of these 10 spots in the front court.
they are the best team in the league right
Jason
now.
Tatum, Jalen Brown, sure. Porzingis, probably not so much.
He's
Uh,
missed some time for sure. I mean, I like a lot of the other ones more than him, but I can't deny that Porzingis has been playing very well in the Celtics. So
he has been filling his role, but we're kind of done talking about the Celtics. We'll talk more about the
yeah,
Celtics later.
yeah, I'm done with this. I'm over it. I'm over it. So let's do East guards. I'll do East guards next,
Sure,
and then that way we both just don't cover the same conference.
I hear you.
Okay, cool. Okay, so in the East guards in order, we have first Tyrese Halliburton, baby. Second, Damian Lillard. Third, Trae Young. Fourth, Donovan Mitchell. Fifth, Tyrese Maxey. Sixth, Jalen Brunson. Seventh, LaMelo Ball. Eighth, Derek White. Ninth, DeMar DeRozan. And 10, Drew Holiday. I made some noises because I have opinions.
Yeah,
Tyrese Halliburton first,
I love it.
awesome. Been
I love
playing
it.
very well. Um, and now finally has been like kind of because of just a lot of really good playing, like has been uh the media has been talking about him a lot, and I think he's getting the recognition he deserves. So very cool to see him first. Damian Lillard, I'm not surprised, but has he been playing better than Tyrese Maxey,
Mm.
Jalen Brunson?
He has the pedigree. Yeah.
Exactly. So I get why Damian Lillard is second. The
Mhm.
third one is when I'm like is where I'm really um Trae Young.
You are a known Trae Young hater.
Um if he was like, I'm looking at the other teams and the other players and they're better. I did my voting. I put Tyrese Maxey. I think Tyrese Maxey should definitely be on here.
Think he should be like number two because you only
Yeah.
get two guard spots. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I would put him above Dame. I love Dame. But I would this year I would put him above Damian Lillard. Um And then LaMelo Ball, who hasn't played
Who
like
hasn't
at
played?
all.
That's all the votes from all the 12-year-olds everywhere.
Yeah, literally. Derek White is very interesting. Also, I just noticed this. The starting lineup of the Boston Celtics.
I told you. I said five. They have five All Stars. I said that.
I heard they have three. And
Three in the front
I
court.
yeah, I heard three in the front. I
And
did
then I
not
said
hear
we're not
five.
done though. We're not done talking about that.
Oh, I thought we were talking about like, I heard we're done talking about the Celtics. I'm not
Oh no,
talking about
no.
them
I
anymore.
said we're not done though. We're not done. We're not, it's not
I
over.
just realized that. But I can't deny they've been playing really good. DeMar DeRozan has been playing well, but I don't know. What do you think?
Okay. Uh, yes, I think the Celtics have been playing really well. Five All-Stars? That's crazy.
They're
That's
not
some
going to get them.
that's some 2011 Atlanta Hawks stuff right there. Uh, and it was actually like 2015. It was not 2011. But I will say I think Derek White may be the best role player in the NBA. So um, him being there is funny. Drew Holiday
Yeah,
being there, he doesn't. It's like him and Porzingis and Derek White all fill the roles. They're not like all stars. All stars are like the guy for every team. They're not the guy.
literally.
That doesn't mean a bad thing. I'm not saying they're bad as players, because I don't think that. I just think like in terms of what the All Star game is supposed to be, those guys don't really fit the bill. Um, I did want to backtrack a little bit, mention Mikhail being front court for the East. I think that's really cool. Um, yeah, I look at this and I wonder, where's Jordan Poole at if Kyle Kuzma is here?
Honestly, right? Tyus Jones, come on, yeah.
Where I am a little confused on how Donovan Mitchell's all the way at 4 and Darius Garland is nowhere to be seen. Because
I
I
had a
think
feeling you were going to say that, but isn't who's injured right now? Is it Garland?
yeah, that's probably
So
why.
I
But
feel like
like
that's part of it.
LaMelo
But then
Ball's
you have
on
Lomelo,
here,
yeah. But Lomelo Ball
so
has like for whatever reason,
yeah,
kids
Garland
like,
had like the fractured jaw not that long ago, so
yeah,
yeah, he's been out for some time. So it makes sense because recency bias. He hasn't been playing recently, so fans kind of forget he exists. Um, I will also note that there's not a single Raptor on here, which I think is interesting. No Pascal, no Scotty Barnes, none of
yeah.
that. Which by the way, I forgot to mention earlier. What's next for the Raptors? They did trade Pascal, so
Oh yeah,
they did do that.
it's so funny in my head. I was like, that's a given, but I feel like I guess we should have said it, shouldn't we
Yeah,
have?
they should trade that guy. Anyways, sorry, backtracking a lot. Yeah, I think again, kind of what I said earlier for the Western front court, and I was talking about him, the Eastern guards. It's like we have the first couple that make sense. Do you think Trae Young's a little high? I agree. I would move Maxey and Brunson probably above Donovan Mitchell just because I think the Cavs have kind of struggled a little bit this year.
Yeah,
Um, and I would probably have Halliburton, Lillard, Maxey as my top three in some order. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at a list of teams over here on my right, and I don't see anybody else that I can think of from these Eastern Conference teams that are kind of notable omissions.
yeah.
Um,
I was looking too, and I was like, I don't really know, like maybe Tyler Hero, but I mean,
eh,
but again, that's like a pushing it.
yeah,
It's
and
definitely Bam and Jimmy have been
the
doing
Wizards,
more.
Hornets, and Pistons are so bad that like none of them deserve all stars really.
Absolutely
Even
not.
their best
Yeah.
players like Kane is like, your team doesn't get an all star when you have three
Yeah,
wins.
yeah, literally you tied for the worst record of all. Yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah.
So yeah, the East is a lot weirder, but I want to get to the West. I want to talk about the
Yeah.
West,
I know.
because I have some very strong opinions about the West. I
Why I
think
saved it for last. All right.
the
You
Western
go.
guards. Okay, here we go. Luca first. Great, the guy's awesome. Steph second, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander third, James Harden fourth, Kyrie Irving fifth, Anthony Edwards sixth, John Morant seventh, De'Aaron Fox eighth, Klay Thompson ninth, and Austin Reeves, uh, A-tier shooting guard, finishing at 10th. So an interesting list of 10 here. I just want to ask you, we're gonna talk about everybody probably, but I just want to ask you, what's the most notable thing out of this?
The most notable thing to me, it's got to be either Kyrie or John Morant. And I would probably lean more toward John Morant.
Okay, we're gonna get there, but let me tell you what I think the most notable thing is.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say, but keep going.
There's no Devin Booker. What? What is it? How does that even make sense? I don't understand. The guy is clearly the second best player on the Suns, and been doing a lot for that team this year. I don't understand how he's not on this list. That's the first thing I thought when I looked at this list. That blew my mind. I was so confused. I was like, how's it even possible that Devin Booker is not showing up on this list. And again, I don't like Devin Booker. I don't like the Suns,
Yeah.
but it makes absolutely no sense that he is not somewhere to be found on this list. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah. No, I noticed that too.
Is that what you thought I was going to say?
I that was second. Well, I thought you were going to say that Shea Gilgeous-Alexander should be higher.
That's true. But Luka and
Yeah,
Steph, they will get the fan love every time.
yeah.
So I'm not super surprised by that. I do think Shea probably should be two after Luka.
Yeah.
But
There are four names on this list that shouldn't be there, and Devin Booker should definitely be on this list in some capacity.
yeah, so
Um,
let's go through those. What do you think?
okay, so to me, there's four names that should not be on here.
Hmm.
Kyrie,
Hasn't played
John,
enough.
John Morant
Just
hasn't
started
played.
playing.
Klay Thompson, like
Trash.
trash, and
Washed.
Austin Reeves. He just
Yeah.
shouldn't be on there. Yeah.
Guys coming off the bench. I mean,
Yeah, I'm like
how many bench all stars do we have?
it does not make any sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is where the list really threw me. I was like, man,
Yeah.
what the heck is going on with this list? I don't get it. Um, because again, you only have two guard spots. It's probably gonna go Luca and Steph, and none of this matters. But all these other guys being on here is just like, okay.
It
Um,
is absolutely crazy. Let's go through it.
yeah, Luca, the guy's a walking triple double, is an MVP
Yeah.
candidate. He definitely deserves to be there. Steph, I think, has been really good. Probably the only bright spot for the Warriors because they're struggling this season.
Yep.
Um, but I do think Shea should be above him at two, because Shea is having a top five season probably. Um,
Absolutely.
but is a guy in Oklahoma City going to get love of a guy in Golden State? Probably not.
Yep.
I think Harden has been good. I don't think he's probably not been number four good in the Western Conference. So that's probably a little high for me. I'd probably have Anthony Edwards above him, probably even De'Aaron Fox above him. Definitely Devin Booker somewhere on this list, right?
Absolutely.
And then yeah, there's a bunch of guys that don't belong. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's just, fans knowing players and they don't Devin Booker is weird. Like I get why like Harden and Kyrie are above like Anthony Edwards and De'Aaron Fox, like just bigger markets and like they have more notoriety, so people are gonna put them on this, gonna vote for them. Shouldn't be that high for sure. Um, but it is an interesting list regardless. Um,
Also, worth noting, no Jamal Murray.
I also was thinking that as
For sure
well.
thought Jamal Murray would just get an all-star just for being on the
About
Nuggets and
time,
being a
honestly.
champion and all that. Yeah, he's never had one, so interesting he doesn't even make an appearance on this list.
Yeah, and where's Scoot Henderson? I mean, come on.
Right.
Goggles,
The
the
goggles are
this
great. I
is
like the goggles a lot.
Yeah, I'm looking at everything else and I yeah, I
It's like the other guys, like
def-
no Bradley Beal. Yeah, he's barely played, so like stuff like
yeah,
that makes sense.
totally
But
get that. Like, yeah, no McCollum because he also had a collapsed lung. He hasn't been playing. So,
I don't think CJ McCollum has ever been an All Star.
which is crazy to think about, but I guess,
There's no
he's just kind of been
Pelicans
on the
on here.
fringe.
No
Yeah,
representation of their roster at all.
crazy.
But that's okay
Um,
because we got four Clippers on here.
and five Celtics, two of my least favorite
There's
teams.
only three Clippers. I don't know why I said four. Yeah, five Celtics.
This
This is
is,
crazy. Five out of the 20 spots.
but three Lakers.
That's the big three. That's what
Yeah,
was
exactly. That's what they were
advertised.
marketing in the beginning. Yeah. So that's how it goes.
No Fred VanVleet. I don't know about that.
Yeah, come on, put them on there. Yeah, but we'll see what happens. We'll see which also get picked. We'll definitely talk about it. I'm
We will
interested.
also make our own All-Star teams.
Are
That is
are
that
we?
is that is a thing we've always done. We've always made All-Star teams and sent them to each other.
We will definitely do that. I did actually submit a vote, so my vote is counted in here.
Mm.
Um, so I won't tell it to you because that will be my team, but I will
Well,
say
it'll
looks
probably
pretty.
be closer to the actual game. Or like
Yeah, for
actual
sure,
game.
for sure.
Whatever.
We can talk about bench and whatnot,
Mhm.
but yeah,
We'll say
that's
what?
I was I'm gonna save what I my picks were for
Mm.
when we actually share it.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
It is in Indianapolis, so Halliburton being a starting guard is good.
pretty cool. Pretty cool to see that. But yeah, so those are all the big things that happened today. It was wild. We were texting each other like, "Oh, add this, add this. Did you add this? Put this." Even right before we started, I said, "You see the other stuff I added?" I kind of just caught before.
Did we like plan this podcast or something?
We're always gonna do it on Thursdays anyway, so it kind of makes it kind of works out.
Were we?
That's our first couple were always like Thursdays.
I literally don't remember that at all. I thought they
That
were
was
on
early days.
Saturdays and like Sundays, the
No,
weekends.
like to release. We don't, but we will
Monday?
record on Thursday. But
Um,
now it's been all over the place. It was like our first two or three is what it
oh,
was.
I see. To record on
Yeah,
Thursday,
I'm
upload. I
literally
see. I see.
talking. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, cool.
And it's
You know what?
Thursday. When will this be uploaded? I don't know. Because it's
Saturday.
12:04, so not gonna be
Oh my
Friday.
God, it's already Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday. It's Friday for me. But yeah, this has been fun to talk. I think a little under 2 hours here about all the stuff going on in the last couple of weeks in the NBA. Also, our voting, the trades, the injuries. Well, injuries aren't fun to talk about, but obviously worth
Yeah, just
noting.
a lot going on for sure.
Hopefully, you guys enjoyed watching or listening or both to this podcast. Um, please make sure you like the video if you're watching it on YouTube. Comment any suggestions, anything like that worth noting as well. On Spotify, download, give 5 stars, share the link with your friends, your family, your grandma. Say, Grandma, listen to this podcast. These guys talk about basketball. Why
Just listen,
not?
Grandma.
And then we can, keep getting this out to more and more people because at the end of the day, all the way 20 episodes ago, in episode one, we kind of talked about all we wanted this to be was just us kind of having fun talking about basketball, which we already do anyway, and letting people hear it. So that
Yeah,
second part is what we're trying to work on, letting people hear it because we're doing the first part.
we're definitely doing the first part. That's for
We're talking
sure.
about basketball and we're enjoying it. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's that.
And before last before least, that's not the expression.
Last but not least.
Last but not least, we gotta do the shot.
Oh
Um,
God, I forgot about the shot.
but I just thought about it. Did you hang up the on air on the hoop? Are
I
you gonna
sure
hit?
did.
You're gonna hit the sign.
I sure am.
All right.
It's part of the
Well,
fun.
I believe in you.
Ugh, it's been so long.
He's got this.
Yeah,
It's because you don't want to hit the sign. That's why.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I like
I know what you're doing. I know what you're
that's
doing.
what happened. That's fine. It's
Yeah.
harder than it looks. Okay.
Yeah, well, again, from me, I just want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're doing that, thank you for sharing and let us know what you want us to talk about. And we appreciate you very much. Last but not least, again, this has been a two-man game with Damon and Dom.
Happy New Year. Buckets.